Welcome to Meg Talks, the Move with Meg podcast. I'm Megan Kerrigan, and I will be sharing ideas on how you can become a more consistent and confident dancer that understands your body and mind. Hi, everybody. I said everybody instead of guys today. I just overthought that in the first initial introduction. Hi, guys. And welcome to another episode of Meg Talks. It is our part 14 today of our Mindset Matters series with Annabelle. Welcome, Annabelle.
Hi guys, I'll say it for you.
You say it for me. It's funny. I just went to say it and then I was like, I say guys all the time. I need to mix it up, and everyone came out. Anyway, today's episode, we're going to be talking about basically being ready to nail your nationals, whether that be Irish nationals. I think this is going to go out about the same time as that, or maybe just after. So Irish nationals, are North American nationals, and the British nationals. They're all coming up. It is a busy time for dancers right now. School is coming towards an end. There's end of school activities. There's sports days. There's half term next week in the UK. There's so much going on. But, of course, the dancing world is still ticking and competitions are still coming, as they always are. So we're going to just talk a little bit about maybe whether it's your first nationals and how to sort of prepare for that. A lot of dancers kind of do their first majors at these events. So talking through the first majors, talking through a little bit about the pressure dancers put on themselves for these events as well, especially if it's a qualifying event for the World Championships. So talking through that. And yeah, that's about it really. Just really diving deep into the nationals, what each of you might be experiencing, how parents can guide you through it. So yeah.
I just thought of a question for you.
Go on.
What was your first major?
The nationals?
British
British
nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mine as well. And I think it was in the Winter Gardens in Blackpool.
Oh, I remember that one.
Which was actually quite a cool venue.
Mine was in this random, it was like in a kind of, I don't know what the venue was, but it was in Manchester, definitely. I think I must have been about 9. And I'd had my first, it's embarrassing, had my first like custom made dress, which was like, if it was windy, I probably would have took off. The skirt was that big. I was like an umbrella now thinking about it. And I was so tiny, obviously 9 years old. The skirt was huge. But I had my name on the back and it was like my favourite thing in the whole world.
You were a trendsetter before the trend?
I looked like a different kid. Like, I was always like the scruffy one, the kid that looks like it didn't have a parent. And I had a new wig, I had a new dress, and I looked like a different person. I remember the photos, stood outside, socks up to my kneecaps.
Oh yeah, always.
And my dad had the polish on the shoes, obviously. I used to be raging at him for doing that. Leave them scruffy, it makes it look like I've worked harder. And then, but yeah, I remember. But the key thing I remember about it isn't actually dancing. I do remember feeling nervous, like feeling like, okay, this is a big deal. I also remember I did really well and I won. I think I came second or something in one of the solos. So I got a plate and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm going to eat my dinner off this when I go home. But like, I didn't really realize what that even meant. And I think after that, my dancing teacher was like, right, we need to go to work, basically. It was like that realisation. But on the way home, my granny was with us. So I get car sick really bad. And on the way home, I was just in the back of the car. This is actually quite disgusting. And I just projectile vomited everywhere.
Nice.
Literally, we were 2 minutes away from where we started the journey. Projectile vomited, but my mom always says, she was like, my poor granny was like scooping it out with a spoon.
Oh,
Disgusting. But that's like that's the most vivid memory. But I think that's because my mom's so traumatized by it. When she tells it, I'm like,
I'm traumatized by it now.
I know, disgusting. But yeah, there you go.
That is vile.
You weren't expecting that when you asked me that question.
No, moving on.
Anyway, that's what I was going to ask you. So that's funny. So your first experience was in Winter Gardens. What do you remember?
Yeah. I don't remember a lot, to be fair. I think I was about 9. We'd gone the year before to watch.
Got you.
because we were from a very small school and some of the older girls were going to do this big competition. So me and my mum went to watch. I remember some of that. I've got a picture of me and my friend that day. I'll have to try and find it.
Yeah.
You know, well, then photo booth, you go in and they pretend
Yeah.
to stretch your
Yeah.
picture. I've got one of them.
Out on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I know where that is. Was that in the Winter Gardens that year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where that machine is. I can picture that.
I've got one of them pictures. I'll have to try and find it. It'll be in my office somewhere. So we'd gone the year before to watch, and then I went and danced the next year. And I think my dad came, so that was unusual because my dad only seen me dancing freshers about 5 times in 20 years. It's 5 times. I'd probably say 4. So that was a deal. And then we did a Kaylee as well. And I remember doing my solo and my Kaylee on the same day. And there's a picture of us in our Kaylee stuff, and everyone's got the same like makeup and stuff. And then I think my friend who wore a pink dress has pink eyeshadow, which doesn't match. And I've got something else eyeshadow that doesn't match. And I remember dancing the Kaylee more, going side stage, and they were like, what speed? And we were like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just whatever she puts on
No.
the music.
Whack one out, yeah.
Whatever you think, mate. No idea. So yeah, I remember that a little bit more than my actual solo dancing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's quite interesting that you remember the couple of things, if like we were to highlight that, were you and your friend having a photo the one year, so like friendship, and then the other one was like you and your team, so like that team element, that other people, that was way more memorable for you than being on your own and doing the thing that we see now as like the most important day or the most important thing to you was like, okay, not really that much of a memory. I think sometimes when you're in the moment of being in competition, and as a parent as well, it's very hard to look at, or when things are going or are a bit tough, when it's like, okay, she's not really enjoying like the competitions. Like there's so much more to Irish dancing than that. Like you've just said, community, friendship, all those key things that we talk about all the time, discipline, all the things that you learn. I think that just was highlighted in what you sort of remembered there.
Yeah, and I don't think it was me. There was a massive deal. There was absolutely zero expectations on me. There was no way I was going to recall in the Cat and Hills chance. So it was kind of just like, oh, you'll go and do the fesh. But the different thing is, your dad's going to be there. You're going to do Kaylee with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in a really cool venue.
Yeah.
And I think we went and stayed overnight. And I think, I didn't remember this, but I remember being told that we turned up. And why we stayed over in Blackpool? Because it's like down the road. Yeah. But we stayed over anyway. And then when we got there, I think it was like a hotel that was made for like 90-year-olds. Like, it was dead old. Everyone was about 104.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're the things I remember. But yeah, it's like that trend at the moment on Instagram, which obviously will be gone by now. Yeah. But it's like, I almost forgot this is the reason.
Yes.
And it's everyone with like all their friends and having a laugh and stuff like that. I like that trend.
And that is the reason, like, we forget the main why. And we try to bring it back to that, don't we, a lot. It's like, okay, but why do you dance? So, like, it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of driving and striving to be better all the time. But, like, okay, why did you dance in the first place? When you were 6 and you put on your first pair of shoes, you didn't dance because you wanted to come first in the world or qualify or get out of prelim. You danced because you enjoyed dancing. You enjoyed being with your friends. You enjoyed that learning experience. And I think bringing it back to that a lot of the time is, well, I think that's the answer to a lot of the questions that we're going to sort of talk through today as well, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair. And on that note.
Yeah, and on that note, we'll move on. So thinking about dancers, I know lots of dancers with 2 examples will dance their first major at Irish Nationals, British Nationals, or North American Nationals. Now, a little bit less so in the North American because their Oireachtas are a little bit more of a big event, and also there's a qualifying element to get into the Nationals, which I think is pretty cool in the US and Canada. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think, what would you say to a dancer who's going to their first major, their first Nationals? What would be like 3 key pieces of advice you'd give to them and their parents?
I'd say, like, to make sure they're fully prepared that it's going to be a fesh, but a bigger fesh. Yeah. So you don't want to build up too much to freak them out and be like, it's going to be this big, massive, huge deal. But you also need to prepare them. It's not going to be like the local fesh down the road. kind of thing. So if you can find any pictures, I always encourage dancers, if you can find pictures or videos of the venue or what it looks like, that's a good way to prepare them.
It's almost like managing expectations in a way, isn't it? Like, no, them having a picture in their head, them knowing what to expect, just takes that element out of it for dancers. Which
it takes the shock element, whether it's one way or another. The shock of like, oh my goodness, I thought this was going to be like the local fesh, and now there's so many people. Like if you go to the British Nationals, there's 2 stages in one room. You're going to get that very often. And if you go into the Irish Nationals, then it's in such a cool venue. And it probably is quite intimidating for young dancers going to their first major compared to what they're used to at the local fesh. There's preparing them for that's going to be different, but also not harping on about it being so big so much that they get so stressed and overwhelmed.
Exactly.
So it's a bit of a tricky one for dancers' parents.
And teachers, I suppose.
But you'll know from your own child how much they've grasped what you're telling them. Have they grasped it in the right way? So I think that's probably the most important thing for parents.
100%, yeah.
Definitely. In terms of dancers, like, go and enjoy it. 100%. Like, you're never going to do your first major again. There's so many exciting things about going to a major championship. They have a lovely, exciting atmosphere. You get to dance in a cool venue. You might probably get to meet new friends or new people you might never have gotten to meet before. And especially if you've only done feshes maybe in your region or the region next to yours, you might get to meet lots of new friends and lots of new people. So it's like a local fesh, but with benefits.
Oh, 100%. And like you said, in your memories, your first memories, go have fun, make memories with your friends, do fun things, get in the photo booth, take selfies, make a TikTok. Like, it is supposed to be about having fun. Yes, obviously there's the dancing and competitive element. We want to dance our best. We want to do well, but having fun is also a key priority always within this.
Just it's understanding as well. And again, this will go down to the parents helping them, that results-wise things might look very different than the local fesh. Just because you're top 5 at the local fesh all the time might not mean you're going to be top 5 at your first major. There's a different element to it as well. So probably preparing dancers for that as well, because I think sometimes that can become a bit of a shock.
I think the other thing as well is, like, speaking on that point, sometimes parents have that same expectation because if they haven't been in this world before,
especially if they're not dancers,
and the teachers maybe don't communicate that like this is a bigger deal, there's going to be more dancers there's going to be a bigger competition, then the parent doesn't know that enough to help to manage that with the dancer. So I think as a parent, if it is your first major as well, if it is your first time in this world, like, basically taking it as that this is our first, we are going to learn from this experience. And maybe that's the way you go into it, like explaining to your dancers, this is my first, I really don't know what to expect, so let's just take this as our first. And maybe just being really open and vulnerable with them, like, I don't really know what I'm doing, you don't really know what you're doing, let's go and have a fun weekend and see how we get on, like,
and we'll work it out together.
And just I think because sometimes I've seen and I've heard and I've spoke to dancers, parents who are also confused, like, oh, but she always does really well. And it's not managing their expectations, but for them to be able to understand then helps the dancer overall. So maybe doing a bit more research, asking more questions. If you have other parents in your dance class that have got older dancers that have been through this, ask them, like, what should I expect? Any things that you learned from your experience? Join our Facebook parents page. It's a free sort of support page, basically, where you can ask any questions that you want, and other dancers, parents that have been through this, or myself and Annabelle, answer those questions and support you. So if you do feel like maybe silly, or you feel like you don't have that person that you can ask quite honest questions to, then you've got that. I'll pop the link to it in the show notes, so that you can find it very easily. But yeah, go on. Sorry, Annabelle, I interrupted for a chat.
No, that was a really good point. It's something I hadn't thought of as well. If you're a parent who's not from the Irish dance world, then, it's easy to go, well, she's always top 10, so she'll probably be top 10 here. And that might be the case, but it also might not be the case. We're not 100% sure. But yeah, I think it's about understanding that there's going to be bigger emotions, but also that probably means bigger nerves, but it also means bigger excitement.
Yes.
And, it's nice, like, to have sometimes a little girly weekend away sometimes, if you're traveling to it. Or equally, I know some dancers now, because there's prelims offered at like the All Scotlands and things like that, some dancers wait and do their first major there. So if that's the case and you live close to the British Nationals, why don't you go and watch?
Yes.
And then that'll slightly prepare you a little bit more and prepare your dancer.
And as a parent, again, in the same situation, if it's your first major and you don't really know, same thing. Like you did, you went the year before you danced.
Yeah.
Like I did at the Worlds. We went one year, the Worlds was in Glasgow, we could drive there. So we went the year before I could qualify. It's almost like that, gaining a little bit of experience and a little bit of feeling like you get it beforehand will really, really help.
Yeah. Equally, if you live in Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
like, then, a trip to the North American Nationals, if you're close to it, like, might even prepare your dancer for their Oroptus, because their Oroptus is so much bigger than what we experience over here.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Americans treat their Oroptus as a major.
Yes.
Now, if you live close to the venue, pop down for a day, 2 days, just to prepare yourself if you can. The same, obviously, with the Irish Nationals too.
Yeah, I love that. In terms of just thinking about your first major as a milestone and taking the pressure off, like it is supposed to feel different. It is supposed to be bigger. It is supposed to be an experience. It is supposed to challenge you. It is supposed to feel a bit more difficult or feel different. Like I said, if you know that already going into it, then you're already more prepared than you know. I think
100%.
knowing that, having those open conversations with your dancer if you are a parent, or even just finding out, like we say, a little bit more about it yourself beforehand, will just set you up in good stead for having a really good first major.
Experience?
Major, yeah, exactly. Then moving on then to a little bit more about the dancers that are at another level that are going into these events with personal pressure maybe, or external pressure, or just wanting to qualify.
Probably a mixture of the both.
Yeah,
It's normally the case.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like personal pressure sometimes. It's external factors. There's not dance school pressures, but like you really want it, don't you? If that's your aim, then nationals is very big for you. The build up will be big. And I suppose we speak about this a lot in the build up to Worlds, maybe, but less so maybe in the run up to these events. What would you say to dancers that are really feeling that, like, I really want to qualify, like that's my goal, and they're pinning their hopes and dreams on that right now?
Yeah, I think it's really lovely when dancers have a goal that they're really passionate about and they really want. And I think that's a really lovely thing. But however, it can go too far the other way. If all, as you describe it, all your hopes and dreams are pinned on that, that is a lot of pressure on less than 10 minutes on stage.
Yeah,
Like,
other people's opinions.
yeah, and other people's opinions. Like, if you have a 2-hour dance class and I said, but only the next 2 minutes count.
Yeah.
Like, my leg would be shaking before I started dancing. Like, I'd be absolutely petrified that only these next 2 minutes count, whether I'm going to get my hopes and dreams or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of pressure on a 2-minute dance.
Yeah.
100%. So I think it's lovely that dancers really want things and they work really hard for it, and that's great. But pinning all your hopes and dreams onto it can almost become counterproductive.
Yes.
And it can go too far, and it can actually end up you dancing worse.
And yeah.
Over trying, which is what I always did, and then the shoulders start rocking and stuff like that. Over trying and not enjoying the day, being stressed. This is normally where arguments with parents come in.
Not being present either.
Yeah, like being too much in your head. There's often tears in the the dance classes leading up to it. We often have quite a lot of dancers in tears and things like that because the pressure is all too much. And I think if you take the pressure off your shoulders, you're actually going to enjoy the lead up more, enjoy the day more, and dance better.
Yeah. And I think, like, we've got a couple of ways that you can sort of put this into action. The first one, I will always get dancers to give me a push goal. So the thing that they'd be buzzing for. Give me a happy with goal. So like, what's your push goal? What's that real big aim that you'd be absolutely delighted over the moon? And then what the next thing that you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm happy with that. So you've got a little bit of buffer. It's not just, I'm aiming for qualifying and that's it. If I don't get that, I'm not happy.
Yeah, it's not black and white. I use good, better, best.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, same I did, but it's a nice to not make it black and white. There's a bit of a grey area in between, because, and also if your goal is to qualify at a secondary major, you've only got like one chance to do that in the year, and if all your 2025 goal is just that,
Yeah. What to
then
do?
exactly. So
Yeah.
it needs to be a wider range than that.
Yes.
And also the other thing is bringing it back down to what you can control and what you can do.
Yeah.
What can I do to dance better than my last major? Or what can I do to dance better than my last special?
Yeah.
What's going to make this 2% better? What's going to make it 1% better? And focusing on that instead.
And then I always pull it back to as well, like the judges don't know you. They don't see you dance very often. Well, yeah, like probably once, maybe a couple of times. So I always ask dancers to think about, okay, what's a measure? How can you measure whether you were better than the last fesh? How can you measure whether you have danced well? Is it on a random stranger judging you on that one time they've seen you dance? Or is it on your dancing teacher saying something positive? Is it on your parents saying, that's actually really good, I've never seen you dance like that? Is it on your friends saying, whoa, you were wicked today? Those people know you. They know how you normally dance. They know how you danced last fesh. And they know how you've just danced for you. So I think having a goal that, yes, you are in control of, for example, dancing my best, then is measured also by the people that are also in control and see you all the time and have a better scale to know whether you have achieved that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always say, I apologize to any adjudicators listening, but like everyone thinks the adjudicator is the expert, but actually the expert in your dancing is you and your teachers.
Yes, 100%.
You're the ones that see you dance all the time. You're the expert in your dancing journey.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they've got a qualification that allows them to sit at the front and judge. But in your dancing journey, actually, you and your teachers and your FESH team are the experts.
Yes.
So, just like if you went to the doctor, you'd take their expert opinion. Then if you're the expert in this and your teachers, then let's take your expert opinion as well. Let's not just disregard it just because someone else has said something different who's seen
I think that's a really good analogy, actually, because sometimes, and it's probably happened to a lot of people listening to this podcast, where they go to the doctor for something, the doctor gives them an opinion. It's probably happened to lots of people with injuries. They go there, they get an x-ray. No, it's not broken. You're absolutely fine. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, still doesn't feel right. I know this is not right. You know yourself way more than anybody looking from the outside, because you know how it normally feels. You know how it normally looks. You know if there's bruising. Your parent knows if you're being a bit different. Your dance teacher knows if you're not dancing the same or you're putting your weight in a different space. It's exactly the same thing. I like that analogy.
Yeah, I mean, I've just had that experience myself with a physio, and I was like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
At all.
And you do know your own body, and that's exactly the same with this. So I think sometimes pinning all of your goals onto a result, even if that is qualifying. And it's hard, isn't it? Because we're in a competitive sport. Yes, we need to have these milestones that we want to hit. We want to qualify. I want to do it here. Perfect. Great. Takes the pressure off your Oroptus, etc. We understand. But also having that other goal that's like, okay, when you do get in the car afterwards and you're a bit like, I'm disappointed I didn't get that, or I'm buzzing that I did reach that goal. You've also got that underlying, I did everything I could. I danced my best, and you can still leave feeling satisfied and a level of proud of yourself. I think too many dancers think they can't be upset and proud at the same time, or disappointed and happy at the same time. Just because you're one of those things doesn't mean you also can't be the other. Like,
yeah, 100%.
the sooner you realize that, the better you're going to get on in Irish dancing. Because there was so many times where I was disappointed, for example, in myself and my performance, but then I got overachieved and came somewhere I probably didn't deserve that day. And there was other times where I danced amazing and I was so proud of my performance, but the result just didn't match. So I was disappointed in the result. And I think opening up that acceptance of I can be both of these things at the same time is a really, really good place to be. And I think as a parent, reminding your dancer of that as well. If you do see them super disappointed in the car on the way home, okay, open that conversation up. Okay, what are you proud of then today? Because I know you're disappointed with the result, but what did you do that made you proud today?
Yeah. Just like when people talk about like their friends in the same competition, you can be sad for you but happy for them.
Yes.
Or you can be happy for you and sad for them at the same time. You don't have to just be one or the other. And that's a really good point. Like you can do that for yourself.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, I like that. It's a good point.
100%. I work through that with lots of dancers because it is, I was really disappointed. I'm like, but before the results, were you happy? Yes. Why were you happy before the results? Because I danced really well and my teacher said I danced really well. I'm like, okay, so we can still be that now, as well as disappointed with the results. So separating those out, I think, is really important. I think another key thing that I know works for dancers that I've worked with personally in the lead up to majors is like, number one, communication. So talking to myself, talking to Annabelle, talking to a parent, talking to somebody else at dance class, how they're actually feeling. So it's not just you're holding all this in, like, oh, I feel a bit pressured and I mean, we're examples of that still. You know yourself when you're holding something back, you're not telling anyone, you feel like you're a little bit embarrassed that you feel like that, so you don't share it. The moment you share it, you're like, oh, should have done
Problem
that 2
shared is a
weeks
problem
ago.
halved.
It is. But we still cling on to it and want to conquer the world on our own. And I feel like Irish dancing kind of does make dancers a bit like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
how
I don't want to
often?
hear it. I don't want to hear you nervous. I don't want it. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen it happen. Dancing teachers, I don't want to hear the word nervous. But they are nervous. That's how they're trying to express to you how they feel. The moment you shut it down is the moment they try to deal with it on their own and they can't.
Yeah, and that's when you get the, how are you feeling? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
And that
when they're
was
not
always
fine.
me. That was always me. Never let anybody in. And it didn't help. I was like a little pressure pot, like a boiling pot, like ready to go boom at any time.
It did happen.
Oh, it did, yeah. The year I fell over at the Worlds. But it does. It's going to come out somehow, and it's I think, yeah, opening up communication, and even if you're like making that easier, if you're a parent or an older dancer listening to this, like have a look around you, be aware of those younger dancers that might be experiencing this self pressure. Talk to them. How you feeling? Oh, I used to always feel nervous. And then sometimes you opening up allows them the space to open up too. I've always found that the minute I tell a story of like, oh my gosh, have you ever felt like that? Because I always used to. Dancers are like, yes. They're finally like, okay, someone gets it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it. So it's someone gets it. I'm not on my own. I'm not alone. I always say that. Like, there's not many, I don't think there's not many things I've heard that I haven't either experienced directly after, 24 years in the Irish dance world now. To, if I've not experienced it directly, I know someone who has.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think opening up and communicating. I think that is where, again, I know we've spoke about like the parents' Facebook group, but our community, our members club is really good for that. We ask dancers every single week, what's your worries this week? What's your wins? What's your worries? And opening up that space where you can see another dancer's put in that they're worried about X, Y, and Z. Okay, you feel a bit braver to put your worry out there and be supported by such a nice community. That is monitored and managed by us as well. So like your dancer is safe within that.
We're in there every single day.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think I love it when I see, it sounds really weird to say this, but I love it when I see a dancer put a worry in there because yes, it's very easy to share your wins, isn't it? It's kind of like that Instagram thing of like everything's just a showcase of like what do they call
Highlight
it?
reel.
Highlight reel, that's the one. Everything's just a highlight reel. But when people show their true selves, when people share their worries, I feel like, okay, now we know we're doing our job properly because they feel safe and supported in this space. So as weird as that sounds, I love seeing dancing.
No, it's good. On a Thursday morning, I've got to say the kids or the dancers that turn up on a Thursday morning to my mindset class are really good at this. But the first question I get them to do is give me 2 or 3 words to describe how you're feeling and why.
Yes.
So it's not just like, "Hey, good morning, how are you? Yeah, good, thanks."
Yeah.
It's I'm nervous because I've got an exam in school today.
Yeah,
Or
love
I'm
that.
excited because we're going on a school trip. Or
Yes.
I'm looking forward to, I'm getting my new dress at the weekend. Or no matter what it is, or I'm worried about such and such at a fashion, and someone will comment back and be like, "Well, I'm at that fesh, so I'll be there
Yeah,
to clap
love
for you,"
that.
and all this. And like, it's really nice to see, especially when they do realise they're going to the same fashion, then the similar age groups, and they're going to be around at the same time.
And also, like, the building of trust because those dancers are turning up consistently.
Yeah, we do have quite a lot of
Build
consistency.
the building of trust within that mini network, within our bigger network is like, this is our safe space. Like, it's only ever been supportive. And maybe turning up and not getting involved as much in the commenting and chatting is a start, and then building up your own confidence. But I think that's a really cool thing about like the consistency of the group that you've got, which, little disclaimer, new gold club, you're gonna get a badge. Oh no, is it a badge or a certificate? Can't remember. There's so many prizes and things to gain. But you will get a badge. No, there's a prize. I can't remember what it was anyway. Anyway, you'll get something for turning up consistently to these things, which is wicked. You'll unlock badges for mindset. You'll unlock bonuses. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I'm so excited about it.
I think it is a badge. I'm trying to think myself though.
I can't remember. I've
I can't
talked about
remember.
badges, bonuses,
Too
confetti.
much excitement. I can't
The
remember.
best part is confetti comes all over your screen when you do certain things. Like, it's just exciting. It's gonna be so much better. Anyway, bring it back, bring it back. I had something else to mention there that I've now taken myself off my point. Um, what were we talking about?
We were talking about nailing the nationals.
Yes, I know that part.
We've
Yeah,
got
I was
onto
just
our
talking about
track.
being safe and
Yeah,
feeling
that was it.
supported. And yeah, so we've got our members club, which really supports that. And like we said about the Facebook parents page, I think that's really nice for parents to feel like they've got a safe haven as well, especially in the crazy world that is Irish dance and Irish dance competitions. Um, Moving on to finally, like, what you can do from now as a dancer, as a parent, to make sure that this happens. Yes, listening to this podcast is a great start. We've also giving you some things that you can go away and action. So having those conversations, opening up a space with your dancer to have a conversation, maybe getting them to write some things down about how they feel. Use Annabelle's little trick of, give me 3 words to explain how you're feeling and why today. Let them open the floor for them to tell you how they really feel. But another thing, we did a 5-day challenge, which is in the members club, which is where you'll find your nice supportive community. Last year, about nailing the nationals. So it's a 5-day challenge where you'll work through goals, like we said, push, happy with, and a performance goal. So day 1 is setting those goals. Day 2 is building confidence and teaching you how to do that in this run up. Day 3 is being prepared. So you'll plan your actual fesh date from top to bottom. That for me is what made a huge difference in my dancing career. Like, knowing what time I'm getting up, when knowing all of those things for me was really important. And that's why that's in there. Communication. So opening up that floor of explanation of
Conversation.
and two-way, like the dancer opening it up and the parent opening it up, and then proud. So like reminding yourself of your positive comments from class. So it's mini videos. The dancer will work through it on a Monday to Friday, or you can start it on Sunday, whatever suits you. It's a really good way. I just remember dancers feeling like, okay, I'm ready now. It's kind of like our 12-week world sprint, but like condensed into a 5-day challenge, isn't it? And that is inside the Gold Club, which currently, actually, when is this going out? I don't really know. So it might be £39 now. Oh, don't know. Don't know when this
Careful what you say.
2, 3. Let's say £39, and then if it's 35, it's a great surprise. Because this Gold Club 2.0 is launching very soon. The price point is going up slightly. I mean, 35 to 39, it's really not that much of a big deal, is it? But if you lock in early and you might have had your emails, then hopefully, tell you what. No, I was gonna. Sorry, I need
Mm.
to My brain. You can see my brain. Annabelle knows inside my brain. She knows
I
what's
know
going
exactly what that was going to be the
on.
next sentence.
Tell you what, if you listen to this and you think, I really want that now, the Nationals Challenge, and if it's after that £39 increase, then if you text me, DM us with your favourite takeaway from this episode, I will honour the £35 monthly price for you and you'll get to keep it for the whole time you're in the Gold Club. Okay, I must remind myself that I said that.
I'll remind you.
I'm just so generous. It's a Friday.
God,
She's
in a
healthy.
good mood.
It's like everyone have it. You need to have it. I just know how valuable that challenge is. And I think I know how valuable it will be for you feeling ready for your nationals. So go for that. Again, like Annabelle said, you've also got your mindset sessions in there every single week. So weekly mindset classes. There's so much in there. You've got previous challenges. You've got your members club. So yeah, it's the place to be really if you want to go in feeling prepared. And also if you are a parent that feels a little like you don't know how to support your dancer through this, we are here to help. So yes,
Always.
it's in the Facebook group, but you can rest assured knowing they're in the right place, they're getting the right guidance, and they are being spoken to by dancers and people that have been there and experienced it and are also obviously qualified in their specific little niche. So yeah, that's the key things, I think. 3 big takeaways you can use right now.
Plan your competition day.
Yes.
100%. Visualize
Love.
your dancing, but also the whole dance day.
The
Don't just
venue, like looking at them photos, like you
side
said.
stage, all of that jazz. Don't just wait till you point your toe and start there. Go from before that. And do your 3 goals, like your performance goal, your placement goal, and like a mindset goal, somewhere you can improve from the last fesh or the last
Yes.
major you've done.
Love that. Yeah. And I think that's if you do those 3 things, you're on the right road. But if you really want to go for it, then please do let us know and get inside that Nail the Nationals 5-day challenge sooner rather than later, because some of it is about building a little evidence vlog. Can't speak. I'm getting excited. So building that, and the longer you have, so the longer before the nationals that you do this challenge, the better. You can always revisit as well as close as it comes.
Yeah, especially the ones at the end of the year, like the October ones, or if you're in another organisation, yours could be, in September.
Yeah.
Come and visit it then. I will just add that I am hoping to be at the British Nationals this year too. I do normally go to the British Nationals. In fact, my mum booked a hotel the other week. So I will be there. So if anyone's around and wants to say hello or want to chat or wants a hug or wants a picture, then please do come and find me.
Good, fabulous. Well, thank you all for listening. Hopefully you've had something that you can take away from this and apply to your dancing or guiding your dancer. Like I said, if you want to get that £35 price point at the Gold Club, you will go in at that price and you will stay at that price monthly until you decide to cancel, which is free cancellation at any point. Other than that, it is £35 now. I'm sure of that. So I'm sure of that now. I've had a little moment to actually do the maths. So yeah. And don't forget, parents, I can't speak. Parents Facebook page as well. The link is in the show notes. Thank you all for listening. As always, we love hearing what you like about the podcast, any episodes you want to hear about in the future, any topics you want to talk about. And if you do like the way that we talk about the parent side of things and the dancer side of things, then the Move with Meg Fest is definitely for you. It is in August. It is August the 14th, just outside Belfast. Well, it's technically in Belfast, but it's in the country. We're getting really excited for it now. There's a full day of events for parents and a full day of events for dancers. It's going to be a celebration. It is being free. It is pop to that session if you want to, chill and have a coffee if you want to. It's very much your day. It's about enjoying Irish dance again. It's about bringing the community together. And it's about me getting to hug you all. Well, and Annabelle.
Yeah. Live music, barbecues.
Yes.
Hopefully the sunshine. What more could you want?
We've got options. If it's not shining, it's fine. It's still going to be a wicked day. So I'll pop the link for the festival tickets as well below. And yeah, we hope to see you there. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back with another episode very, very soon. And of course, wherever you're listening to this, please like, subscribe, comment, give us all the love so that more Irish dancers can find us.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Meg Talks. Don't forget to share your favourite parts of the episode and tag us on Instagram at movewithmeg with 2 Gs. And as a special treat, head to movewithmeg.co.uk/Fesh Day Warmup to access your free video. See you next time.